Chief Connection Officer and co-founder of Techsauce, an executive chairman and co-founder of HUBBA. Please put your hands together for Amarit Charoenphan.
All right, good night, Sri Lanka. Woo! Woo! I'm honored. This is the first event I actually get to be between you and bedtime. Normally it's between you and lunch. So my name is Aim, and today I'm going to close this amazing Disrupt Asia Summit with what I love to share most, which is the topic of innovation and the power of startup community. So, my name is Aim, and besides running Thailand's first co-working space, HUBBA, we launched 8 years ago. We also, 4 years ago, launched Techsauce, which is the, I would say, like the TechCrunch of Southeast Asia. We write about all the cool things that are happening in the region, as well as put together this amazing conference every June. On the side, I actually spend about a week helping out with UNDP as an entrepreneur in residence, new, young social entrepreneurs that are trying their best to stay afloat, stay alive, as well as Techstars. And I've been helping out startup communities across the world, whether it's from Mongolia to all the way to New Zealand and cross over to, I'd love to go to Africa one day, Lebanon. I've been actively trying to take what I've learned all the past 8 years and spread the love, and now really proud to finally be dragged over by our friends in the Techstars community to come all the way here to Sri Lanka. We also did raise some funding, so I walked the walk, not just startup cheerleading. Actually, with the few funds that have worked with us since the early days, building the Thai tech scene, Golden Gate Ventures, Wavemakers, 500 startups. But I really wanted to share that my background is actually in nonprofits. And I heard Casey say that he doesn't want to hear founder's life story, but you're going to have to bear with me for the next 25 minutes. But really, the start of my journey was very simple. I had a great chance to go and help out hill tribes in the northern of Thailand, and fell in love with this simple way of life, with the fact that people enjoyed cultivating the land, being around their families, and eating simple food. And we went there to try to help villagers build these multi-functional facilities, and try to teach kids how to watch the stars and ABCs, and learn how to cook and eat with the villagers. But after being there for about 2 weeks, I realized that all my feel-good moments were fleeting. The multifunction facilities would end up being a karaoke room. The kids didn't need to learn ABCs. They needed to learn how to work the land and make money. And we were actually a burden to the folks that we were hosted. The villagers spent their hard-earned pennies on us trying to keep us fed. So I felt, was there a better way if I could actually work and do really well, be rich, by helping other people? And that was kind of my life's theme that I discovered early on. And, this is how passionate I was. I was taking photos like I'm going to go out there and save the world one shovel or one tea basket at a time. But that journey led me to Google the word social and entrepreneurship, and I discovered this cool nonprofit that was really a pioneer. 10 years ago, running an incubator, helping social enterprise, and that's always me in the right-hand side making goofy faces. But guess what? After 9 years, I only recognize 2 of the 30 companies that I was running an incubator for, and I tried really hard to figure out what was going wrong. Everything we did was by the books. We teach people business model canvas. We were trying to match them up with mentors. And we were really passionate, but we were failing. I did a ton of research and figured that something was broken in Thailand. I went around and heard that amazing people were hanging out in co-working spaces, trading ideas, helping one another out, sharing their experiences. And then went on Quora in 2010, and people were telling me that no such facilities exist in Thailand. And if you're a foreigner and you go there, you're going to get arrested for working on your tourist visas. I went around to government facilities looking at workspaces, and they would look like people had died in there 10 times. Drab cubicles in the middle of nowhere that took 2 hours, braving traffic, and just no life in the spaces. And some of them were pretty expensive. If you back in the days, going to a shared office space, and you realize that every little printer, every word you ask with the receptionist, you were being charged a few hundred baht. And by the time that you realized that the rate on the internet and the rate you actually pay was 3 times higher. I did more research and realized that over the years, Thailand's ranking in terms of competitiveness and innovation was dropping from 35 to 40. It kept going down and down, or hovering at the same, and always lagging behind Singapore and Malaysia. But Vietnam overtook Thailand. And then I found this article by Paul Graham, Y Combinator, godfather of startups in Silicon Valley, that says that death is default for startups. But there is an antidote, a cure, which is a place where startups can come and, be doing cool things together, and then chance meeting of people that can help you change the trajectory of your life. And what drives that is just the sheer number of people in startups. So everybody in this room, in my opinion, are a winner. You are finding the cure to your startup's early demise, and hopefully you get to hang out with the speakers and myself and pick our brains. But that feeling, that kind of community did not exist in Thailand in 2011. So where does innovation come from? I see all these problems in my research, and I'm just sitting there and I see these internet revolution happening in Thailand. Smartphones, people trading their iPhone 4 from Blackberries, people looking for Thai apps and they couldn't find anything. I'm sure it's the same here in Sri Lanka. So I was wondering, there's all these people that want to build startups, but why aren't we creating anything cool? So one of the things, a great mentor, which I'll show you his picture, or startup godfather told me, is that it's not about the problem. It's what everybody says, in startup mentoring circles, like you got a problem, market, problem solution fit. You got to understand who your customer's problem is. But I think problem oftentimes come out of scarcity. Something is crappy, something is expensive, something makes you feel unsafe, makes you pissed off, slow. And those scarcity drives, it's the seed, the ground that creates innovation. And I find that many times we feel that, we have to be in Hong Kong or Singapore, great place to build startups, I'm sure. But being in Bangkok, or Colombo, this is where startups and innovation can happen, because there's so much issues and scarcity that you're going to build really interesting innovations and businesses that solve not only the local problem, but problems for the most exciting region in the world at the moment, which is Asia. So some ideas around scarcity. When I talked about the hill tribe example just recently, last week, I was in this training program. And the entrepreneur that I worked with many years ago has built a business where he was helping one of the hill tribe villages, which I visited, to be able to create a chef table experience using his platform and working with the locals. The locals will drive all the way down, make us a chef table catered meal, bring their dresses where people can rent them or buy them, and actually earn a massive ton of money, tell their stories to Bangkokians who probably never get a chance to go to Hill Tribe. And all of us get to dress up in amazing clothing and have a massive ball of a time. That's innovation. Innovation can be like motorcycle taxis. I'm sure all of you know, everywhere in Asia mostly, that the public transport system is broken and all the streets are narrow and buses can't get into it. It's a failure and a scarce system that allows new innovation to flourish, like motorcycle taxis that zip you across town and delivers parcel and helps you to order food. And that innovation has turned into Gojek and Grab and Line Man. And that's happening in Bangkok and Jakarta. So my scarcity story started in 2008 when the financial crisis hit. Our family is a banking family, and my dad suffered a lot. So we were not broke, we were actually in negative territory. We had a lot of investments go sour. I had a ton of debt attached to the family name, and I figured that if I stuck with the nonprofit, it would take me 20 years to pay back. So we were out, hanging out in Pattaya, because guess what? October 2011, massive flooding hits Bangkok. Everybody left for 3 months. I was on the top right corner, I was in a rented house in the middle of Pattaya. No 3G internet back in the days. Couldn't do any work, couldn't download any files off Dropbox, decided to go to a cafe by the seaside, great views, couldn't get any work done because completely packed. Went to the next cafe, Starbucks, completely packed, internet was $5 for 5 hours. How could you work in 5 hours? And we realized something is really wrong. I'm really upset, I can't do any work. And then that's when I realized that idea that I had researched a few months back, co-working spaces. I think now it's time to work on it. We had some ideas to build an app, and we said, okay, we'll figure it out as we go along. Let's build the co-working space first, at least. If it doesn't go well, we'll have a nice office space, or we'll convert it into a bar, and we'll go from there. So we found interesting house. It looks like a retirement home, top left. And we said, we have a vision, Silicon Valley. This is going to be like Hewlett-Packard, Steve Jobs, we're going to work in a garage. We literally converted a garage and showed our designers photos of Google offices. I don't know, I didn't think he got the memo. He missed 2 colors and traded red for pink. I have an allergy to dust. He decided to roll out AstroTurf in the whole house. I don't know why. And then we decided to design it ourselves. Everything took twice as long, twice as much. A bottom right photo was when we opened, and a few people. All of them were my staff, and we were burning, I would say, about $6,000 a month, but we had no members. And we had like a month of runway, and we were freaking out. So we didn't know what to do. So I think one of the second mantra besides scarcity is, I believe it's, if you are Buddhist like me, give first, positive karma, and if you do cool and interesting thing and you help out enough people, somehow some folks help you in the end. and then asking for it. If you don't ask, you don't get. So a bunch of people asked us if we could host meetups, and we had an empty space. We said, why not? It ended up, all the godfathers of the Thai startup ecosystem come to HUBBA for the first time, never met each other. We hang out, we became best buddies. One of the guys in the photo is our investor, one of the guys is our business partner. The other guy we also work with, he works in a corporate, one of our biggest sponsors. And the guy with the circle is mentor. A lot of why I'm here today and I didn't fail or went out of business was him telling me what to do and who to talk to and sending me opportunities and deals. And what he told me was, Aim, you did it the unstartup way. You went out to build a product without understanding your customer. Your prototype cost, $150,000, and you have no idea how to run this business. You need to think of this like a startup, not like an SME. So he told me, question everything. Why is the traffic bad in Bangkok, and what can we do about it? Why is this crappy? Why is this slow? Why is this expensive? And that's the question I asked of the workspace. Initially, I couldn't afford to rent an office. I wanted to meet cool people, and I wanted to work with interesting entrepreneurs. But when we ask a bunch of people, and even ask a lot of the mentors, they would give me stories like this. Reed Hastings, the CEO, founder of Netflix, asked the question of why do video rental stores had to charge him $150 late fees for an Apollo video he rented and forgot to watch, and being screamed at by his wife, decides to start a media empire that is now 20 years in, one of the most valuable in the world. So I definitely asked a few of my own questions. Why do cool people come to my co-working space, but none of them actually met or knew each other before? And all of us had to sign on a piece of paper to say, hey, we've checked in. We have to put a sticker on ourselves and says, hello, my name is. We have to go around trading name cards and losing them. Why is co-working and networking and community so low tech, right? So we just kept asking these questions. Why are people coming to the space? Why are you keen to be part of a community? And a lot of people were telling us it's not about the space, dummy. Yes, we love to be productive and hang out with cool people, but it's really about what can you do to help me get to where I want to go. After building a fancy co-working space, there's always going to be one that's more bigger, better, more expensive. Somebody wants to lose more money. And we realize we can't compete in that route. We just have no money, no funding. We have to compete on better ways to achieve the same goal without spending so much. So we decided to talk to our members and test out a bunch of ideas and just kept asking for feedback. And that's very important because diversity is my third mantra. Without quickly testing, trying, refining our ideas, the startup world thrives on diversity. And I'm not talking about just men, women, every gender, every age. I'm talking about competition from around the world. Anybody here in this room has the right to compete with anybody in Silicon Valley, in China, in India, in Bangkok. And that's a great thing. Because all of us are trying to serve our customers better. All of us are trying to solve the problems of the unbanked, of people that are, that don't get the opportunities, that are trying to solve the problems of climate change. We need more people trying to do the same things in different ways. Whenever I go meet the folks at Techsauce in our regional APAC summit, we have people from 40 different countries come together. Everybody has the same ideas, the same startups that are pitching on stage. And that's the beauty of the startup community. You have unlimited competition from day one. And if you're not hungry, if you're not trying to be faster, leaner, having better technology all the time, somebody will overtake you. Somebody is looking at my business right now and see how they can disrupt me. Somebody is trying to learn from me and make better decisions. And that keeps me on my toes. It makes me want to go back and work as hard. And if anybody says that startup life is glamorous and you get to chill and come to tech conferences and get on stage and talk to people, tell you what, it's a grind. 8 years in, still going. And whenever we have conferences that we host, we go around the region asking for people to pitch. Last year we went to 20 cities. Finally made it to Sri Lanka, so one day I'm going to make sure we have you guys on the map. But the idea is the teams every year get better and better and better. People are learning when you come to these conferences, going to different ones abroad. And that's a great movement. So, you know this by heart, right? Startups, what it is. Looking for repeatable, scalable, in the search for a business model of such. I think temporary is very important. So anybody who's a university grad or still working a job and has a side hustle, you're more than welcome to be part of the startup community. But I think most important to this statement is search for. Because in HUBBA, I think we are a community of very confused people. Everybody get together in the co-working space, meet over lunch, and every day we're like, we don't know what we're doing. We're just winging it. We don't really know who our customer is. We don't know how to make money. We don't know what we're actually doing. And that's a really different life from when I was working in the social enterprise incubator. All I knew when I was reading books was that you got to know your product. You got to know your target market and customer. You got to turn a profit. Nowadays it's going back to this mantra in Silicon Valley, but this is what we always thought was business. But startups nowadays, it's about identifying problems and looking at scarcity, looking for scalable and repeatable models that are using innovation to drive that. And I think that fundamental shift in the way we perceive things, is very important. Because in the past, we were always thinking that, okay, we're just going to make money, we're going to put it in the bank, we're going to go out there, get some more bank loan, and grow. And I think that model works in the past, but nowadays, you just have to admit that there are infinite number of competition, people trying to enter your market, people are trying to do the same thing as you. And if you do the SME model, yes, you'll get somewhere, but you could be blindsided. Somebody could come in and just kill your business and take over. So in the past, we've built factories to manufacture a bunch of widgets. Now we're trying to build virtual factories using technology, testing it, and seeing, okay, well, this test works. Let's do some more of that. Let's build on top of this. Okay, this doesn't work. Let's reallocate, refocus our resources, try something different. And then trying to see ways that we could go from 30,000 users to 300,000 users to 3 million users and 30 million. And every time you add a zero, you are fundamentally going to be disrupting your business. You're going to be going out there with epic ideas and saying, how can I do this at scale? Because if I don't do this, somebody else will figure it out, and they sure have, and they sure will. So that's our business. Startups life is all about experiments and turning assumptions into facts. And you can go to every startup mentor and they'll teach you all about build, measure, learn, lean startup, and that's something you really need to take to heart. So we took that to heart as well. So 8 years in, kept iterating. We opened spaces, we closed spaces. We have 4 locations, opening a 5th one now. Every year we host over 20,000 people and organize 200 events a year. As a business, it's gone from becoming just a co-working space to an innovation ecosystem catalyst. And I'll tell you more about that, because really our service is we provide both co-working, events, and programs. We work a lot with our corporate partners to run corporate innovation activity and enable that to scale using software. So our entrepreneurs are growing in their journey as they become teams with products, with customers, with traction and funding. So the space hosts everyone, and the programs gets people along that journey. And corporations are now trying to see ways they can work with young talent. They can see what innovations is happening in their backyard. They can see which startups they should invest in. So the data and insights help them to make better strategic decisions. So our spaces, come in all different shapes and sizes. Inside buildings, we've got glass house in the middle of gardens, on top of food courts, inside outdoor malls. The programs, as I mentioned, are stuff like Startup Week. We're one of the only few countries in Asia to run this with Techsauce, 60 events in 5 days, and we have 1,500 people come through all of our locations trying to learn from one another, and it's all peered powered, so everybody learns from one another. I have things like startup weekends where we lock people in the house, which is illegal. They're not allowed to go home. If they go home, they leave the program. Don't ever do that. But we ended up building innovations that now have gone on to raise millions of dollars. Annually, we run about 16 programs a year. The biggest one is for 1,000 attendees, and we give out over $60,000 worth of seed funding, all in grants. And I tell you, best way to raise funding is not from VCs, grant, free money. That's the best. If you can find it from programs and competitions, go for it. The other one is sell to your customers. You make a great service or product, people pay you for it, you don't dilute yourself. Don't get all hyped up into this VC game. And through that, we ran so many events. We had a big bottleneck where we couldn't market them fast enough. So we built our own tech media and said, okay, let's write about all the interesting things that are happening in Thailand, and let's get the world to know, and then let's write some more about Southeast Asia. So Techsauce is alive and well, and also user-generated. So a lot of people in this room, if you just go in, you can sign up and send some articles about Sri Lanka. We're happy to check it out. And through the media, we decided Thailand needs a great show. Just like Disrupt Asia, it's brought me here, and I'm super impressed by the Sri Lankan ecosystem. We have a show for 20,000 people. Not nearly as big as Rise. It's Casey is the big man, my big brother. But we are learning from the best and doing something a little crazier, a little different. But that's how we roll. And through that, we realized that a lot of our corporate partners figured that we knew a thing or two about startups, and they wanted to learn from us. So we work with the stock exchange, trying to educate people about corporate innovation and startups. We run a few accelerators, like with FIPA and a consumer products company. And then we started building software as a service. We tried to automate a free database for startups in Thailand. On the website, you can check them all out. We have a platform to match startups to press, called Press Room. And we even try to match startups to angel investors, HUBBA angels. So we building SaaS so that we can scale our community. And sometimes our other co-working spaces are asking us if they can use our software. So at the end of the day, you're trying to create a team that's going to go with you on this journey for 7 to 10 years. And it's at this day and age, it's really not about just innovation. You might want to make a lot of money, you might want to be famous, you might want to be on stage, great. But truth be told, if you really want a team to go really far, you have to find something that you're super passionate about, that you think day and night and go crazy about. Find a mission that everybody in the team feels that they're trying to solve a problem bigger than their own. Going from innovation to impact and making lives better, more convenient, less costly, more fun for everybody. And I think it's very important these days. We're in the Greta generation, and the world's going to hell in a handbasket, and we really need everybody in this room to start pulling your sleeves up and saying, hey, I want to solve some of these major problems because we only have 2 generations left in our lifetime to do it. Yeah, and through that, we ended up building this amazing community that Google supports us as a Google Startups partner and helps entrepreneurs grow and succeed in any way, shape, or form, and that's really our core to our mission now. Last few key takeaways. Your business is really not just about solving problems. It's about changing habits. There's so many things that you do on a daily basis that you don't realize that 4 years ago you might not have ever used a taxi or ride-sharing app, or never ordered food online, or felt that e-commerce was going to be fraud-prone and you're going to lose your money. But guess what? If a business, a startup can succeed, it's one that will change habits of people that are most likely to never change, in this case in Thailand, farmers, and get them to look at their apps and phone and figure out weather data using satellite imagery and figuring that they can make more money by knowing when to plant their crops better. If you can do that, you're going to make a ton of money. A lot of people always ask me, should I keep going? What's my advice to you if, I'm doing this for a few years and I might be struggling? Should I keep going and, I might strike the diamonds in a few more years, or should I stop? I guess I don't have an answer for you. You could stop and be a really smart person, because sometimes you're headed in the wrong direction, as you can see from the photo on the right. Everybody's avoiding the diamonds. Sometimes if you go a little further, yeah, you might meet it. I truly don't know. What I do know for a fact is startups live and die by their heart. And if the day and the moment that you decided, I don't have heart in this anymore, I want to give up, that's when the company fails. It's not when the company is out of cash. Even if you're out of cash and you still have heart, you're going to figure out how to put money in that company and make payroll. So, keep that fire, keep that passion burning alive, and keep your mental health in check. Making ideas happen, that's really all to is to our community. And we've been seeing amazing pitches on stage. I was pitching and I've failed many times. I've gone through accelerators and didn't win. But we keep trying, because every time we get on stage, we're going to learn, we're going to improve, we're going to get great advice and possible mentorship. And over the years, we will refine it and come back and likely win. So I leverage my community. I don't think you guys love or like me enough so I could crowd surf you. I think we might need some more density up front. But this is how powerful the community is. 2 years ago, I put on the Techsauce show. People loved it so much, they pushed me off stage. And they didn't make me break my back. And I'm always eternally grateful as a community leader that we are only in this business because of the people that we serve. But at the same time, you need to come and talk to folks like me. You need to talk to the speakers. You need to ask questions. You need to make sure that you're building your own community around you so that when you need help and you're about to fall off the edge, somebody is there to pick you up. You can do it, It takes a lot of balls, a lot of heart, but An example here is one guy jumping off with a sponsor, and the big joke is, Red Bull has a better space program than most countries in the world. Red Bull can do it. This guy can do it. I think all of you can do it as well. And Red Bull is part Thai company. So, honored to be here on stage as the closing keynote. You can always find me. I shamelessly took this inspiration from Casey. So, Techsauce Global Summit, 18, 19 of June. HUBBA, Thailand, if you're dropping by and need a place to work. And ask me anything at AIM Amarit. Thank you so much for having me, Sri Lanka.